Alright guys, right, we're back. I've got the original script on me here, and I've got my mouse now showing. It should be showing now, hopefully. But if we look here, I'm just going to basically go through it just briefly and just show you what bits have changed. So, opening titles with text, that basically changed from opening titles with crawl, but at the time of writing the script, I actually didn't know about the crawl creator, so I know there's going to be the opening titles, but I was going to sort of do that myself. But anyway, Empire Strikes Back opening with Star Destroyer flying in space and Imperial March playing. If you watch the original Empire Strikes Back opening, the bit with the Star Destroyer flying past with Darth Vader on the Super Star Destroyer, I was going to have that as the opening bit. Now, it was actually originally going to be a load of the Star Wars clips just put together from the movies, but then I then realised I couldn't do that for copyright. And then I asked in another Discord that I'm in called the XPG, it'll be in the description down below. I asked in the tech chat, I'm looking for an animation software, a free animation software for a project that I'm doing. Could anyone give me any recommendations? And somebody suggested to me Source Filmmaker. So I then changed it. That's where I got the animation from. That's where the animation changed from concept to actual moving animation. And Empire Strikes Back opening got replaced with actual gameplay from Empire at War, because then by that time I'd actually bought it on Steam. And then Imperial March, that stayed because I basically only get Content ID for that, which is fine. Camera changes to Darth Vader looking out Star Destroyer bridge window. Again, the Darth Vader looking out Star Destroyer bridge window, I got inspiration from Rogue One, because that was another clip that was originally in the concept. And basically what it was originally going to be was Darth Vader looking out of the bridge window, and then it turns to his front, and then he walks backwards. And that was what it was originally going to be, and that's where I got the inspiration for. Well, that was the original concept, and that's where I got the inspiration for the animation from. But again, that wasn't done until quite late, and then when I started editing, that was quite late on. Because if you look in the trailer of the Traitor, a Star Wars story, you see Darth Vader in the middle of the walkway of the Star Destroyer's bridge, and he's talking and moving his head. That's because when I started animating it, I had him turn around and walk backwards in the concept with the Star Wars Rogue One clip in it, and I had him walk back, and then that's when the animation would start. So that was the actual concept, and I kept the animation in, but then I changed it quite late on because I thought the animation looked a bit naff, which it did. And then I changed it to Darth Vader looking out and having that animated as well, which would then be my own thing. Star Destroyer door opens. Again, that was sort of one of the bits that if I could change, I could. I basically got a sound effect off of YouTube, and I basically recorded a sci-fi door opening. I'm not sure if it was a Star Destroyer one or not, but no, never mind. Yeah, you summoned me, my lord. All this thing's pretty much the same, except for a little bit. Because what happened was, the problem with the Darth Vader one was, I made the Darth Vader audio. I spoke it in a deep voice, like, yes, after your recent promotion, the Emperor wants to test your ability to see the results for himself. But because I was speaking in my throat to get that deep voice, I couldn't make certain words I couldn't pronounce properly. Like, I said, the Emperor wants to test your ability and see the results for himself. If I did that in my throat, it sounds like the Emperor wants to test your ability to see the results for himself. The wants bit, I can't remember what it sounded like. I think it just sounded like the Emperor want to test your abilities and see the results for himself. There was too many S's in that, and for me trying to talk in my throat to make my voice that deep, so it made sense and it worked when I was trying to edit the audio to make it sound like Darth Vader. It sounded really weird. But that was a bit of the problem that I had with Darth Vader. Eventually it sort of sorted itself out, because I basically just did it again and again and again until I was happy with it. But yeah, that was the main problem with Darth Vader. The Clone Trooper, it was originally again, in the concept, the start of the concept was going to be, as you can see with the pictures of the Special Forces trooper. I'll see if I can find it. It might be here somewhere. No, it's not. That's just videos. But anyway, somewhere in there is a picture that I used in the concept, and basically it was originally meant to be the clone trooper without its helmet on, and then this bit up until clone trooper puts its helmet on, that was actually originally going to be normal audio, with no actual clone trooper or stormtrooper effects in it, and making it sound like telephone voice. And then I had in the concept, in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailer, where the Special Forces trooper puts the helmet on, that was then going to be, puts the helmet on, I understand, my lord. And that would then be in telephone voice. But I then changed it because putting the animation with the helmet on was a bit more tricky than actual necessary. And actually animating the mouth moving would have been harder than just moving the helmet. And again, with the clone trooper, I could have easily just left him stood still without his helmet moving at all, because if you look in the movie, stormtroopers barely ever move their helmets to talk, because I suppose in the movies they were quite bulky, and they basically sat on their shoulders. They probably did move their heads, but it didn't show because their helmets were basically so big they were attached, resting on their shoulders. So that was changed. This here, I'll make effective use of them, my lord. I actually unconsciously changed that, and then I changed it back once I figured out that it was actually the wrong audio. Basically, I wrote that to say I make effective use of them, my lord, and I actually recorded it. I will make good use of them, my lord, and that was what was in there until I ended up redoing the audio because I got this new mic on my headset. And then I went back and I looked at it and thought, that's not what the audio that was actually meant to be recorded. It's meant to be, I'll make effective use of them, my lord, not I'll make good use of them, my lord. So when I ended up re-recording it with this new headset, I then re-record it saying I will make effective use of them, my lord, and make it what it should have been. I don't know why I ended up making it, I'll make good use of them, my lord, because I'm making effective use of something. It sounds sort of a bit better. All of this basically stayed the same. This was something that was actually added in. So Admiral Mordon was always meant to say, prepare to jump to hyperspace. I think it ended up just being prepared to jump to hyperspace, but it's something along those lines. That basically stayed the same. But I basically then added the Walker crew. So it's basically Echo ended up doing the Walker crew and the Star Destroyer crew as well. And he basically, I told him the lines that I wanted him to say, and he basically said the lines, but said them about 5 different times in different ways. So he would say, roger that, sir, roger that, sir. So that basically gave me the opportunity to take a bit of that audio that I wouldn't have used for the Walker crew and put it in there. So he would say, prepare to jump to hyperspace, and then the Star Destroyer crew would then say, roger that, sir. And then it jumps to hyperspace. This was actually originally when the big bulk of text would have gone in. It said, fleet jump to hyperspace on the way to Hoth. Clone trooper thinks to himself, when I was going to promote us, please, etc., etc., etc. Now, this is basically giving a foreshadow of what was going to come. But I thought when I was editing it, I originally thought, where can I put it, and how can I make the travel to hyperspace? So the travel through hyperspace to Hoth, because it's basically just hyperspace with a couple of Star Destroyers and a few transports in it, and that wouldn't have worked. I couldn't find any way of actually getting that to work. So I ended up thinking I was putting it in the middle of the space battle, but no, that didn't work either, and then I ended up just getting rid of it entirely, just because it was too much text, really. Fleet jumps out of hyperspace. Enemy fleet sighted. What are your orders? That actually stayed. Yeah, that stayed the same. Clone trooper, fire all cannons, break their blockade and kill them all. Now that basically changed to charge up all cannons and open fire. So that basically stayed the same. It's basically fire all cannons, charge up all cannons and open fire. So it mainly stayed the same. I got rid of this because the bit kill 'em all was sort of, again, this was the first concepts of me writing the script. Admiral Morden, yes sir. Space battle escalates. Admiral Morden, sir, there are enemy ships that are preparing to retreat. I say, move cruiser intercept or something along those lines. I can't remember what I said originally. In the end. Admiral Morden, as you wish, SD2209, move to intercept targets, and that was all kept the same. Also, this audio, I actually forgot to record this initially. I went through it, because I went through the entire script and recorded my audio that I needed to record all at once, so I know I had it. But that I actually forgot to record. And Admiral Morden was actually done by Thorn. But I never actually... It was originally a unit that was meant to do Admiral Morden, but he never actually got around to doing it. So I said to Thorn, unit's taking a while to do its audio. Could you do it for me? And if he comes around and says, okay, I'll do it for you, here it is, then I'll use his instead. But unit never did, so I let Thorn do it for me. TIE Fighter Pilot, this was the one that I actually gave to Philip to do his audio with, because he was a TIE Fighter pilot, and I basically highlighted it just to make it easier for him to notice. I did it for Unit as well, when I was originally meant to have him do Admiral Morden's lines. I basically highlighted him just to make him see, make it easier to see what the lines they've got to do. That basically all stayed the same. This bit here sort of changed a bit here, there, and everywhere, but it's mainly the same. This bit, I understood, is there any way of the Admiral discovering the location of the uplink, sending the troopers fires to stop them from being activated? I changed that from stop them to prevent them from being No, I changed it to prevent their activation. So I said, understood, is there any way of Admiral Morden discovering the location of the uplinks and sending them to the troopers' devices so we can prevent their activation? Just makes it a bit shorter, makes it flow a bit better. This basically said... This basically stayed all the same. This basically went from as you wish, sir, to yes, sir. Actually, no, I don't even think there was anything there at all, actually, in the end. Don't know. Yeah, but this ended up having to re-record again because I was using my old headset. And the problem is this headset that I've got is 7.1 surround sound. I mentioned it before, but that makes the problem that it's so loud. And when I was editing it, it started to screech. The audio started to screech, and because it was stereo, it was telephone voice as well. That makes it even worse, which sort of got a bit annoying. So I redid it. Seeing carries on gameplay of Fighter Squadron. Again, I just put gameplay of Fighter Squadron just as a reference, so I knew what I was actually meaning to put in.